Some places are not destroyed by war. They are not swallowed by fire. They are not erased by a single disaster. Some places disappear in a much quieter way. One door closes, then another. A window stays dark, a field is left untouched, a road grows silent, and slowly, almost without anyone noticing, an entire village becomes a memory. This is the story of a forgotten village, a place where time seems to have stopped, a place where empty streets still feel like they are waiting for footsteps, a place where the houses are silent, but somehow they still seem to remember. No one knows exactly when a village begins to die. It does not happen in one moment. It happens in small decisions. A young man leaves to find work in the city. A family closes their home for the winter and never comes back. A school loses its last children. A church bell rings for fewer and fewer people. At first, life continues. There is still smoke rising from chimneys, still bread on kitchen tables, still voices in the narrow streets, still someone sweeping the doorway in the morning. But something has changed. The future begins to feel farther away. The village sits between hills, far from the noise of the modern world. Stone houses line the main street. Their walls are cracked, but strong. Their wooden doors are faded by sun, wind, and years of waiting. Once, this place was alive. In the morning, people would open their shutters and look out toward the fields. Children would run past the fountain on their way to school. Farmers would leave before sunrise. Old women would sit near the doorways, talking quietly as the light moved across the stones. There was not much money here, but there was rhythm. The rhythm of seasons, the rhythm of rain, the rhythm of bells, harvests, births, weddings, and funerals. Everyone knew everyone. Every house had a name. Every corner had a story. And then, little by little, the world outside began to change faster than the village could follow. The roads improved elsewhere. Factories opened in distant towns. Cities promised salaries, electricity, schools, hospitals, and a different kind of future. For the young, the choice became obvious: leave or be left behind. At first, they said they would return. They packed small bags. They promised their parents they would visit in the summer. They said the city was only temporary, but temporary things can become permanent. 1 year away became 5. 5 became 10. Children were born in the city. Old houses became holiday homes, then storage rooms, then locked shells full of dust. The village did not collapse. It emptied. That is the strange thing about abandonment. From far away, everything can still look normal. The houses remain, the church remains, the school remains, the path to the fields remains. But the reason for all of it has gone. A school without children is no longer a school. A fountain without voices is only stone and water. A street without footsteps begins to feel like a question no one is there to answer. The last years were probably the hardest, not because of sudden danger, but because of silence. Imagine being one of the last families left. You wake up in a village that once held hundreds of people. Now only a few lights appear at night. You know which houses are empty. You know which doors will never open again. You know the names of people who used to live there, but now those names belong to other places. The shop closes first, then the school, then the bus comes less often, then not at all. Letters arrive for people who no longer live there. Roofs begin to leak. The sound of children disappears completely, and one day, someone realizes there is no future left to protect. So they leave too. Maybe they locked the door. Maybe they looked back one last time. Maybe they told themselves they would return in spring. But spring came, and no one came back. Years passed. Rain entered through broken roofs. Weeds grew between stones. Paint peeled from walls. Old curtains moved in windows without anyone behind them. Inside the houses, ordinary objects remained. A chair beside a cold fireplace, a plate on a shelf, a bed frame covered in dust, a photograph fading in a drawer, a child's notebook with unfinished pages. These are not treasures. They are smaller than treasures, and maybe that is why they feel more powerful, because they show that history is not only made by kings, wars, or great events. History is also made of kitchens, school desks, work boots, keys, letters, hands that built walls, people who believed their homes would outlive them. Walking through a place like this, it is easy to feel that time has stopped. But time has not stopped. It has continued without people. Trees have grown taller, walls have weakened, animals have crossed the streets at night. The seasons have kept returning again and again to a village that no longer answers. Nature does not mourn abandoned places. It simply enters them. A plant grows through a window, roots push against a foundation, birds nest in the church tower, grass covers the path where children once ran. The village slowly becomes part of the landscape again. And maybe that is what makes these places so haunting. They remind us that everything human is temporary. A home can become a ruin, a street can become a trail, a memory can become a rumor, a village can become a name on an old map. But abandoned places are not empty in the way they first appear. They are full of absence, full of the people who left, full of the voices that are no longer there, full of meals that were never cooked again, full of doors that were closed for the last time. And this is why we are drawn to them. We do not look at abandoned villages only because they are eerie. We look at them because they show us something about ourselves. They ask a quiet question. What remains of a life after everyone is gone? Is it the house, the objects, the stories, the memories of those who left? Or is it simply the feeling that someone was here? In the end, the forgotten village is not just a place, it is a warning, a reflection, a small monument to everything the modern world leaves behind. Progress always promises movement, but movement has a shadow. For every city that grows, somewhere else may become smaller. For every new road, an old path may disappear. For every future we choose, another future is abandoned. And yet, there is something beautiful in remembering, because a place is not truly gone while someone is still willing to tell its story. Maybe no one lives in the village now. Maybe the windows are broken. Maybe the school will never open again. Maybe the church bell will never ring across the hills. But for a few minutes, we have walked its streets again. We have imagined the people who lived there. We have heard the silence they left behind. We have seen the houses not as ruins, but as memories with walls. And maybe that is enough to bring a forgotten place back, if only for a moment, because maybe a village does not disappear when it becomes empty.